Hello everyone. This week I'm making baby booties, or shoes, or slippers, or whatever you want to call them. We have a new addition to our extended family arriving in November, yay! And while I always design and make a new quilt for them, this time I'm adding in a few other bits, these gorgeous booties being one of them. You'll need the template, which I'll link to in the description. This doesn't use much fabric at all. You could get numerous pairs of shoes out of one fat quarter. You need to cut two of each of the pattern pieces from your outer fabric. I'm using the same fabric as I used for the bandana bib last time. So 2 heels, 2 soles and 2 top pieces. Then the same from your lining fabric too. I'm adding wadding into the sole of the shoe, so cut 2 of those. You can use felt or fleece or anything soft that has a little stability to it. You'll need 2 pieces of thin elastic, measuring around 3.5 inches long. Mine's a little bit wide, I think this is 4mm, because that's currently all I've got, but I would suggest 3mm at most. Separate the pieces into 2 shoes so that we can work on one without any confusion. Set one of the batches aside. Now take the 2 heel pieces and place them right sides together, one main fabric and one lining fabric, matching up all the edges. Pin this together if you need to. Sew across the longest edge. This is indicated on the pattern pieces. Use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. If you've not noticed the comment on the pattern, basically hold the pieces in front of you and the sides will splay outwards towards the top. That's the side that you need to sew. Cat intermission, sorry. Right, sew across that edge, as I said, at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Roll over the fabrics so that the wrong sides are now face to face and you're working on the right side. Roll it over really well. If you want to, you can go ahead and press it with a warm iron. Sew a line of stitching across that folded seam about 1/4 inch down. This is to create a casing for the elastic to sit in. If you're using thinner elastic, you can get away with making the channel smaller. If you're using a wider elastic, which I don't recommend, obviously you need to create a deeper channel. I just held the elastic against the heel to figure out where to sew, less measuring that way. Attach a safety pin to one end of the elastic and pull it through the channel you just created. When you've pulled the elastic in, stitch the end of the elastic to that end of the channel. Oops, pulled it through a bit too much. Could do with a pair of tweezers to pull it back out, but I didn't think of that. Anyway, once that's stitched in place, Stitch a few times over, by the way, just to make sure it's very secure. Then pull the elastic through the casing so that you can catch the other end of the elastic in the other end of the channel and stitch that in place too. You should now be able to tug on both sides and let go. This should automatically make everything sit evenly. Lay out your main fabric toe piece right side up. Add your finished heel piece right side down to the left across that straight edge. Make sure that the raw edge of the heel is facing outwards. Then top that with the toe lining piece right side down. Pin or clip all those layers together. Sew across this until you reach the centre of the toe piece. Now pin the other side to the other side of the toe piece and repeat the process. You can go ahead and pin both sides in and sew straight across, but it's a bit fiddly because this is so small. So I recommend if you're making these for newborn, that you do it in the 2 steps like I have. Clip away as much of the excess as you can get away with, or use pinking shears like I did. Turn the top right way out and roll out all the edges like we did with the heel section. Pin the lining and the main fabric for the toe section together to stop them from shifting temporarily. Now top stitch a 1/4 inch across that straight edge. Here's a reason to use a spider when sewing small pieces. My machine was refusing to sew and was instead trying to eat the fabric. Use a spider, it's easier, but I only have handy what I needed for the video, so I flipped it around and started from the opposite side. Thankfully that worked. Place your pieces in the following order: wadding, main sole fabric facing upwards, shoe top that you just constructed facing down, so this will basically look like your finished shoe at this point. Then add the lining piece right side down on top of them all. Pin through all the layers to keep them in the correct position. Now I prefer to do this in 2 steps too, aligning the shoe top and heel and then adding the lining fabric afterwards. Also, when I made shoe number 2 off camera, I pinned instead of clipped and found that it worked much better for holding the pieces in place. Sew around the shoe at a 1/4 inch seam allowance, leaving a small gap in one side for turning through. Pull the shoe through the opening. Make sure that you're working on the lining side. If you see the outer fabric on the outside, flip the shoe. As you can see here, I managed to miss a small section in the toe. I have two options here. I can turn the entire thing through again, which is a pain, or when I'm closing up the gap in the side, I can stitch across that small section in the toe too. This is the option I'm going for. So pull your opening flat and top stitch straight across it, following any contours depending on where you left the opening, and in my case across that tiny section of toe too. Trim the excess away as close as possible to the stitch line so that anything left will get lost in the foot of the shoe when you turn it right side out. Turn right way out, and of course that didn't catch. Quick fix again. Then turn right way out again. And there we go. Repeat all these steps again to finish the other shoe. I'll do the second one off camera and come back when I have a pair. And there we go. Pretty little booties, all finished. I hope this has been informative and showed you what not to do, and that everything is obvious from how I've managed to show you the construction process. But please feel free to get in touch if there's a part that wasn't easy to understand. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps us out, and it means that the YouTube algorithm will serve the video to more users, which means we're more inclined to make more videos for you lovely people. Until next time, happy sewing.